Hello, my name is John Norman. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for San Antonio ISD, and I'm excited to do the final presentation to our SAISD Board of Trustees on our Always Learning Plan. The Always Learning journey began with this bold and courageous declaration statement that SAISD is an inclusive familia that is the destination for transformational learning that makes the impossible a reality by demonstrating an urgent and relentless commitment to love, nurture, and teach all our students as if they are our own, so that they realize their power to shape the world. The adoption of that declaration statement led to the creation of our 5-year board goals and guardrails. The board goals are the community's vision for student outcomes, what students should know and be able to do. The guardrails are the community's values that must be protected while in pursuit of those goals. One guardrail that we certainly honored during this process is to embrace our community. And you'll see that in a video coming up where we demonstrate a lot of the engagement that we did over this process. So Always Learning is the roadmap to achieving those 5-year goals and staying within those guardrails. It's not your typical strategic plan with a vision, mission statement, and a handful of goals. It's a strategic management plan. It provides a detailed roadmap. It's also a living document that's going to continue to improve as we learn what's working and what needs to adapt. The plan is organized in 4 sections: our students, our future; our employees, our strength; our organization, our heartbeat; our community, our familia. The plan is comprised of 12 components within those sections, and the components really run the breadth and depth of our organization, from the academics, the social emotional learning areas, to our human capital, our hiring, our compensation, to operations, transportation, food service, technology, and finally to our familia, our family engagement, our community engagement, as well as ensuring that all of our families have access to high quality schools. So each component has detailed objectives and activities, as well as a timeline and specific outcomes. The plan was written this way so that anyone in the community can see exactly what we're proposing to do and by when. So Always Learning truly has been a journey. It began with our declaration and our goals and guardrails, as I said earlier. It continued with extensive engagement. And I'm going to show a video that's going to demonstrate a lot of that engagement that we did over the last several months.
The Always Learning Plan is the result of an unprecedented level of engagement with SAISD employees, families, and our broader community. Our engagement began with the Always Learning District Coaching Team, a group of more than 50 of San Antonio ISD's leading educators, service and support staff, and administrators. This dedicated team spent over 32 hours conducting a line-by-line review of the first draft of the plan. Their work resulted in over 570 edits and comments to the first draft. We then brought Always Learning forward for extensive feedback from all of our employees and community. In early January, we conducted in-person listening sessions at all schools and in every central office department. Through this engagement, we received more than 4,800 staff responses to our survey. Through January and into February, we welcomed the broader SAISD Familia to engage with the plan and offer their feedback. We conducted a focus group with local community volunteers, nonprofits, university partners, and local officials. We invited our entire community to the Alamo Convocation Center for enchiladas and chocolate cake to celebrate the Always Learning Plan and ask for additional feedback from parents and the broader SAISD community. Finally, we held the Always Learning Community Summit. This was the culminating event of our public engagement. Over 100 local community members and national education leaders heard the feedback received so far and helped us resolve the most critical remaining questions. After compiling and analyzing all of this feedback, we know that we will be presenting a plan that reflects our community's authentic needs and highest aspirations for our students.
So you saw in the video a snapshot of the people that we engaged along the way. I want to share some details, some numbers to demonstrate that commitment to engagement. So with the district coaching team, we had 55 employees that dug in and analyzed the plan and did a line-by-line edit over 32 hours over the course of 8 meetings. That work resulted in a second draft of the plan that produced over 570 specific line edits. In terms of broader employee feedback, we offered the opportunity to attend in-person feedback sections for all of our campus and department staff. That work resulted in over 4,800 individual employee responses to an in-depth survey addressing a single component of the plan. In terms of parent engagement, we had 79 parent feedback sessions organized by principals and FAISD specialists for parents to engage with Always Learning, to learn about what it was about, to ask questions and offer feedback, and get an opportunity to respond to our survey. We had over 1,200 parents attend these engagement sessions. In addition, for the Gathering of Community Voices event, which I'll talk more about later, we had 180 families invited as VIPs to that event. That individual outreach by our FAISD specialists resulted in 89 families, which was 179 individuals attending that event. In terms of broader community feedback, we had 45 people attend an Always Learning focus group on January 24th that had small group listening sessions. Over 250 people attend the Gathering of Community Voices on February 8th. Over 100 people attend the Community Summit on February 10th, where we had the opportunity to hear all of the feedback received and help resolve key questions. This work led to 409 total responses to our 2 community surveys. So what did we learn from that feedback? This is just a small snapshot of some of the data, some of the great data that we received from the community. So over 80% of our community members agreed or strongly agreed that Always Learning components have a focus on equity. Close to 80% of our community members agreed or strongly agreed that Always Learning components show a level of transparency on what SAISD will concentrate on over the next 5 years. And then a strong majority of staff and community members agreed or strongly agreed that San Antonio ISD is headed in the right direction. Now, in addition to that general positive feedback we heard, there were specific voices who pushed us to clarify our aims and make sure that we meet our commitments. We captured just a small snapshot of the quotes. One person said, "It's a very detailed plan and I'm excited to use it. However, I know it's going to take a lot of work and support from everyone in the school." Another person said, "It sounds great thus far. All I ask is that we hold ourselves accountable with sticking with the plan." In addition to that, we got specific feedback about employee retention, as well as the specific verbiage we used in the objective around improving math proficiency for Black students. We channeled all of that feedback into 4 specific focus questions. These were the things that really bubbled up out of all of that feedback. These were the trends we saw. And the questions that our community and our staff continue to ask. Equity stance. How do we as a community address underserved student populations? Valuing our staff. How do we as a community cultivate a renewed sense of belonging among SAISD employees? Doability. How can we as a community achieve our ambitious goals without overwhelming staff? A lot of people said, this plan is wonderful, it's great, we agree with it, but how are you going to actually accomplish it? And then transparency. How do we as a community effectively and honestly communicate progress on the plan? So these key questions, along with a close reading of the comments from everyone, resulted in a thoroughly revised 3rd draft, which we're now presenting to the SAISD board and the community. That draft includes another 618 specific line edited changes. So both the edited version or the track changes red line version, as well as the clean and final version that will be presented to the Board of Trustees on February 27th can be found on our website. So as you've seen, this was a journey, an incredible journey from the declaration guardrails through the engagement. And now I want to talk a little bit about how do we take the words on these pages and put them to work for our students and our staff? How do we implement this plan? So one key partner in this work is going to be a new advisory body that we're calling the Children's Cabinet. We think it's critical that the community own this plan into the future. If the plan is owned by the community, it will live beyond changes in district leadership. So the San Antonio ISD Children's Cabinet will help ensure that this plan is sustainable and is owned by the community. It's going to be a diverse group of local leaders and national experts. It'll meet quarterly to monitor progress, advocate for and continue to improve on Always Learning. We're going to assemble and begin meeting this group in the spring of 2023. I want to give a special thanks to the Schusterman Foundation for their support for the Children's Cabinet and our broader engagement. So finally, I just want to talk about our top priorities and next steps throughout the spring, in addition to the Children's Cabinet. We want to identify and celebrate quick wins coming out of Always Learning. We're going to begin to develop internal and external dashboards to monitor progress. We're going to highlight connections between Always Learning and our board goals and guardrails. The Always Learning strategies are what will allow us to achieve the goals and guardrails, and we want to make that more explicit. Then we want to begin to align district budgets and secure additional resources to make sure that we fund the key initiatives in Always Learning. So thank you so much for your time and allowing me to present, the ideas, the strategies, as well as the journey that it took to create Always Learning. We couldn't be prouder or more excited about this plan. We believe it lives up to the aspirations that we have for our students and our staff. And we're excited to now put the plan to work and see the results that generate from it. Thank you so much.